to the round 4 of the Track Stars TS3 Championship. We are live from the very fantastic track all the way in Belgium. So we've travelled all the way from Daytona in America. We've gone all the way to Belgium, and we're at the lovely Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. And as always, joining me in the combox would be N Spud, and he actually got here not too long ago because he went on a little bit of an adventure down under into Melbourne over in Australia. So I had the early trip over, and he was a bit adventurous, and he decided to gallivant across the country, across the world to the other side. Welcome, good friend.
Yes, DJ. It has been a very long journey for myself from Daytona back to Newcastle, and then a train ride down to Melbourne, and then back to Newcastle, and then another flight to Spa, to Belgium. So I'm all over the place, DJ. I mean, you can't stop me. I'm all over the joint. But yes, it is good to be back here in the commentary box since last time out at Daytona, where we saw what was, I think we could basically say, DJ, it was only like a one-team show rather than a one-man show, and that belonged to the M&R boys with Ben Stick 7 taking out the victory ahead of his teammate in SS boys. So those two teammates working very well together to get themselves 1 and 2 at Daytona. But here, like in the words of V Papa, at least we get to be turning right in this track. So we'll be turning left and right. It is a 20 corner circuit. So basically, one of the classic race circuits in Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps, beloved by drivers and spectators alike, where today the true essence of speed can be explored in this spectacular style on a relatively safe and modern facility, as we see flyboarding coming across the start-finish line, as we see to go for a ride on board. Basically, they're going to have about 2 laps, DJ, to get their laps completed for the qualifying session. So it's all about maybe making that first lap, you'll maybe bank a lap, and then the second lap you go for it.
Yeah, you can. I'd say that's probably the best thing to do, but there obviously is that chance where you can kind of have a little bit of a mistake on your second lap, and that then becomes a banker lap too. But yeah, I think the out lap was just to get the tyres up to 10. But yeah, obviously it's a new qualifying format that we decided over it after round 1. So it's a bit different for them, but it just shows that they kind of got to really get their helmets buckled up really tightly and get their head down for the 2 rushing laps. And if you don't get out of the pits fast enough, then you won't make the second lap, which by the looks of it, Quentin might just make it. So there's 2 minutes to go, so we'll wait and see how we go at the moment. But yeah, it's flooded by Nissans here. There's 2 Hondas. No Lexuses, unfortunately.
No, we did see Isa Nightmare. She's the only driver in the Lexus, I believe. Yes, so there we go. She's the only driver. So look at a full 3-car field represented by all manufacturers, Nissan, Lexus and Honda this evening. We were supposed to have a second entry in the Lexus, but unfortunately for my teammate, could not make it this weekend. But Isa Nightmare doing herself a really good job after just being a very late minute entry into the Daytona 500, but she's kind of adapted well to this series. I mean, nothing to go by. Obviously, you can't really critique an oval racing, but I think her first circuit racing at Monza, she definitely surprised. I guess you could say she kind of caught us off guard with her pace. I mean, she was definitely not the fastest, as we see her go off through in the Brussels chicane. But yeah, I mean, she caught a few eyes there with some good pace, only being a few seconds off the leaders. As we see flyboarding come through with a 2:09, I believe, or 2:08.
2:09.1, and then he was going over the 2:86, so he's gone half a tenth faster, but they're slowly starting to come through. So we've got 35 seconds to go, so these guys will get another lap, which is lucky for them. But it's getting really dark outside. I think there might be some rain on the way, so the question is, will they get another lap in before this rain comes? The weather radar does not look very good up here, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, well, when I was just flying over the Ardennes forest, basically, in my Millennial Falcon, going through at warp speed, basically going through hyperdrive, and I come to Belgium, and all of a sudden I just see some dark clouds. So yeah, they're coming. They will be coming later on. We just don't know when exactly. So it'll be interesting to see how the drivers go, whether they can stick out the whole 7 laps of dry running, or maybe they'll have to do maybe a one lap where they might need to change onto the wet tyres because it might be too little too late. But on our final stages of qualifying, we have Meat and Cheese Pie setting the early pace in the Steel City Mash Spuds racing with a 2 minute, is that 2 minute 8, 2 minute 6?
2 minutes 6, 7.
Yeah, a little bit of my end on the blurry side, but that's okay. And then we got Rick Green in second place with Isa Renegade in third. So the top 3 in the championship all scattered around in the top 3 so far here at the end of the first part of qualifying, with Rick Green taking a very healthy lead after Daytona, 81 points over Meat and Cheese Pie, and he's only stretched his gap and extended the gap over Meat and Cheese Pie as well. So early days, DJ. We're only on round 4 of a 14 season championship, but I guess early advantages goes to Rick Green so far.
Yeah, at the moment, the championship's looking really tight between all of these cars, and it's good to see that the in-game balance of performance kind of gets them really even, and then obviously we turn tuning off, so then really kind of comes down to driver capability, seeing how quickly or how much speed they can get out of their car. So this track, I feel, might be like a pretty Nissan dominant. As I say that, Rick Green goes faster with a 206.5, so we'll definitely want to see how the Lexus and the Honda come out of this. But who's going to... Dark, a bit wet out there, so yeah, that's checkered flag there for these guys and girls. So hopefully they can surprise us. But yeah, as
Absolutely.
we said, there's a bit of weather.
Yeah, it's definitely looking like a bit of weather coming over the top through Camel. So, but yeah, we did see Meat and Cheese Pie did have a little bit of a moment there through Huon, and I think they just maybe upset his lap for his second run there. So Rick Green managed to get that second lap in, put it perfect, and he was just 2/10 clear ahead of Meat and Cheese Pie, with Renegade who was dropped down to 5th, as low as 5th, managed to find his way back up into 3rd place. So Hustle NZ looks like he may have just crossed the finish line with 1 lap to go. So as we wait for him to complete his lap, but so far I don't think there are going to be any challenges. It looks like it's going to be Rick Green.
Everyone was crossed the line when I went checkered flag, so...
Okay. So Hustle will need to stop on the track. We shall wait and see, but yeah, so far the top 3 in the championship occupying the top 3 positions here at Circuit of Spa-Francorchamps, with Rick Green first, Meat and Cheese Pie second, Renegade in third. So definitely advantage goes to Rick Green, but it's all about that start, DJ, and going in that run through to turn 1 through La Source. It is very important for our drivers to make sure they keep it nice and tidy, nice and steady, because what we saw from Monza obviously wasn't a good one. So fingers crossed they might be able to pull their learn it from each other after that Monza incident, and we might be able to get ourselves a good turn 1 for the race 1.
Yeah, so fingers crossed as we got everyone ready for the race. So I'll jump out here and we'll go race start for race 1 here at the fantastic track of Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. You know, gotta get all fancy with the
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's right. But yeah, we go. So we're about to start race 1 of round 4 of the TS3 Touring Cars Championship. But looks like these guys are going to get themselves a sunny start, DJ. So who have you got your Monopoly money on to master these variable conditions? We've got Rick Green on pole, Meat and Cheese Pie in second. But who can be the one that may pose a challenge towards Rick Green?
I'm looking to be a little bit of hustle here, so I'll jump out, get spectator.
Ooh, better.
Oh my god, what's going on? Oh my lord. As I say that, hustle goes real hefty. Oh, Kamari Kid just got absolutely smashed off the start there. He's in the wall. That's a bit unfortunate. So, wonder if he was involved in a bit of contact there.
Kid. Definitely not the start that he wanted, but a few of the boys trying to get themselves settled in as this race goes on. But we are racing under green flag conditions with Ice and Nightmare just going shortcutting Radion, Eau Rouge and Radion there. That's not the right line that you want to take there, but so far We still got Rick Green that has the lead. He's still got the lead after taking pole position, with Renegade moving himself up into second. Actually, no, we'll say I was going to say being chased by Fly Balding has moved himself up into third. Benstick is now in fourth. Oh no, sorry. Hustle is in fourth, but now he's up into third place. So this is probably your pick, DJ, with Hustle being up in third place as he gets a little bit scored wide there, and that's Renegade. He's gone too much heavy on the throttle there, and on the exit of Rivage, unfortunately for him, that's his race done and dusted, but we have to wait for these wet conditions to come through as Venti goes for an inside race winner in Benstick 7, and a very surprising top 4 for Benstick 7 in the main Daytona 500 on Sunday evening, DJ.
Yeah, he did very well. All meat and cheese pie just escorted someone there. These guys are getting really hefty here. Easy, settle down, boys. Easy up. It's your first lap. It's make more work for us with your incident. Settle down. But yeah, Benstick did really well in the Daytona 500, getting himself a P4. So he was just not too far behind me, a couple of seconds off. But yeah, he's definitely stepped up to the plate. Obviously it was Daytona. Cowboy goes for a shortcut. As I say that, gets a half sticker penalty. So yeah, he's definitely kind of lived up to being a little bit of an underdog, you'd say. But I think maybe if he gets a little bit more experience in the TS3 field, he might feel more comfortable moving up into TS2. So
yeah, 100%. Went for a bit of a late move there for Tormentor into La Source. So, but yeah, I mean, he's done himself a really good job, and he's definitely put his name forward as to being, you know, one of the top drivers that they could field MNR in at least in TS2, because if they want to consider themselves to be, I don't know whether they want to consider themselves to be a main series team, or whether they're happy to stick it out in the TS2, TS3 program. I mean, it's a solid start for Benstick and his career in season 2022 for the Touring Cars Championship, the TS3 Touring Cars Championship.
Yeah, definitely a solid chance, and obviously with being main series, we do give every team a chance if they do want to race up. But yeah, I guess, you know, they're in TS3 at the moment. There are no teams championships in TS3 or TS2, but you can rep team colours. So he's still in a pretty solid solid performance here from the M&R boys. But Fly Balding's been really hustled here by meat and cheese pies. So
yeah, well, I have noticed that he's not being cheese pie. Just wants to make amends after that first sector on lap 1 mistakes that he's been lacking a little bit of his starts there, being cheese pie. As we say, he runs a bit wide and hold it there, and he's unable to hold it. Runs a little bit wide on the AstroTurf on the exit of Brussels, and his day has just gone from bad to worse. If he thought he could keep third place, and he just can't get that car running on traction. So that's another race for Need Cheese Pie to forget. Same went with Renegade as well there. So Renegade's moved himself back up into the top 8, but like I see, DJ, I'm looking out west towards the end of Lecum and Malmedian.
yeah, it's a bit dark there. It's looking awfully dark. So we'll definitely wait and see if this rain actually comes through. The sun's starting to go behind those very grey clouds there. But
yeah, so as we were trying to get a bit of a word, and we did see a lot of cluster going on through the bus stop there with a few of the drivers, some from WRT, the M&R boys, and I believe one of them was Venti as well. So yeah, as we see Benstick taking the outside line, my goodness, that's an ambitious line there. I don't know if that's whether you call that legal or not, but obviously there's only one way, and if you had nowhere else to go, then I think for him, you just got to take all precautions.
yeah, you got to try and take as much evasive action as you can. If you do end up there and you're avoiding an accident, then it's been a long day. But yeah, it's got to take evasive action and then try and avoid the car from causing any further incidents and stuff stuff like that. But yeah, Venti's dropped down. Oh, he's gone off track here. Oh, a Kamara Kid comes through, gives him a big hip and shoulder there. As I say that, Kamara Kid goes around. But
oh, jeez.
yeah, this
luckily for Nightmare not to be taken out there, but bit of a chaotic start, race one. Obviously, whether these boys managed to get their practice in, but one driver that's not having a very clean, that is having a clean run. It is Rick Green for the Triple R Motorsport. Like I said, the man is on fire. Seriously, he's won 3 races, and we're only into 5. We're so far in 5 races down. He's won 3 of them, DJ. So, what can you say about Rick Green? But with total domination throughout TS3 so far in the year 2022. But like I said, those dark clouds are coming in. So whether we might see the rain pop in later on, we're not too sure. But so far, at the end of lap 3 and at the commencing of lap 4, it is Rick Green in first place, with Flyboarding for Robo Sport Racing in second place, Hustle NZ for WRT Motorsport, and Oz Tormentor also for WRT Motorsport in 3 and 4. Ben Stick, the first of the Honda drivers for Motorsport Network Racing in 5th. Renegade is right on the back of him though, he's hustling him and trying to steal 5th place and demote Ben Stick down. As I say that, Renegade goes for a light move on Ben Stick, and he's made that move stick. So beautiful move there by Renegade, and demotes Ben Stick back down to 6th place, with his teammates in SS Boy and Cowboy occupying 7th and 8th place. Down in 9th, we see Iso Nightmares are doing a very good job of getting hassled by Meat and Cheese Pie, who had that early spin through the Brussels chicane there, as he's got a bit of a slow run through the chicane there. But looking on the exterior, DJ, you can see that rain, you can see the dark clouds coming in, and there's a bit of rain on the horizon there, with Kamara and Venti rounding up the last 2 grid positions of our 12-man field, man and woman field this evening.
Yeah, Venti's dropped all the way back down here into 12th, so he's currently having a bit of a battle here with Kamara, but having this rain come in, it may turn the field upside down. We don't know how much experience some of these drivers have had in rain, so it's going to be a very, very interesting one to see if they can hold it. But sorry. Oh, again.
Twice again.
It's long flight, mate. But it's starting to spit. I can see the spits coming down. So when will they take that move to go into the pits? Yeah, I've seen one. Yeah, it's coming down on the screen.
Oh, yes. It is coming down right now. It looks like it is coming down. Very light at the moment, but it's all up to Rick Green. He's the pioneer. And at the end of lap 4, about to commence lap 5, will he be the first one to dart into the pit lane? No, he doesn't. So he's going to stick it out. So he doesn't think this rain's going to last that long. It might be just a little sprinkle and then that's it. But with Flyboarding in 2nd place, Hustle in 3rd place. So this will be Hustle's best performance. Will any of these guys drive into the pit lane? No, they don't. So they're actually going to stick it out, DJ. So obviously everyone's brave here. Obviously maybe their engineers are telling them that it's only going to be a short rain period, but who knows?
Yeah, I'm curious to see if they know that there's a weather radar that they can look at, but I'm worried that they're going to be caught out by this rain, because you know as well as I do, as soon as it starts to rain on the track, it can get very, very slippery. So I wonder if they're thinking, I'm just going to run another 1 lap gauntlet, see if I can beat the rain. But if you get halfway around this track and it starts to rain and you're on slick tyres, then you can kiss your race goodbye. I'll tell you that much. I know that firsthand, just from a bit of practice, and I know that you can say the same thing too. So it's very, very dark out there.
Yeah, it is getting very dark. So, but from what I can see on the water levels from the drivers, where you can see it next to a tyre gauge, as we saw, I did see Hustle go up into 2nd, but Flyboarding's just taking that back there with a nice switchback move through Rivage, which is a nice corner. Oh, as Hustle just runs a bit too wide, and there we go, D2. There's a slippery patch there, and Hustle was the first driver to catch himself out on that AstroTurf where it's so slippery there, and the boys just need to start thinking about working around, tiptoeing their way around, whether it's too dangerous to be on slicks or whether they just, say, you know what, I'm just going to risk it, throw on some intermediate tyres with only 2 laps to go.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a very interesting one. We've got Rick Green here. I'm just curious if they're going to get caught out by this rain on the last lap. That's the question. Meat and Cheese Pie has a bit of a disconnect there, so it's very unfortunate for him in his championship campaign. But I know that you wouldn't be too happy about that being the team boss, but I guess we move on and we keep going, eh? But nice recovery here from Kamara Kid. But Rick Green's done the gauntlet. Got Cowboy dropping out too, so I wonder if that's
Cowboys had a DNF as well, so that's 2 DNFs within the span of what, 20 seconds. So that's crazy. So I have to try and see what these boys are up to come race 2 of the TS3 Touring Cars Championship. But yeah, it looks like they're not going in. Obviously, their engineers are just telling them to stay and to stick it out for only a couple more laps to go. With Rick Green in first, and I think the battle pack is going to be with Fly Balding and Hustle NZ. So it'll be up to those boys to see who can take out second place this evening for race 1 of the TS3 Touring Cars Championship for round 4 here for the Belgian Grand Prix at the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. Yeah. As we say that, we got a bit of driver's radio comms through. I believe that's coming through Venti as well. His radio's telling his engineers that his wheel's absolutely throwing him into the walls, and it keeps locking left or in the right position. So yeah, so obviously that's the first team radio we've heard all season, and it's not playing out for Venti so far.
Yeah, it's very, very unfortunate there for Venti. Obviously, we haven't. He did end up having to go buy a new headset too because he was drunk and he stepped on it. So he's running a new headset. Maybe he was a bit drunk and got a bit handy with his wheel too. So whip out the DS4, mate. Come join the boys. But,
that's all you gotta do.
This is curious. I'm wondering if this rain is actually going to come through. This is it's a bit odd, but we'll wait and see. With this
I believe they may have just avoided that rain, unless Rick Green sees on the map that he might have to do one more lap on softs, and yeah, he's gonna finish the race on soft tyres. So whether the rain comes at the last couple of corners or Rick Green comes through in first place with a dry track, we'll have to wait and see. But on the final lap for race 1, no one's been able to touch him. DJ, we know Rick Green's a fast driver, but he's putting himself 15 seconds ahead of Fly Balding for RoboSport Racing. Hustle NZ in 3rd place with his teammate hanging around in 4th, and Ice Renegade in the top 5.
Yeah, it seems to be a bit of a audition show here at the moment, but yeah, Rick Green's doing an outstanding job here in the TS3 series. But I wonder if he feels like, I'm beating the field by this much, give me a challenge, or let me see what I can do in the TS2. So I'd definitely like to see what Rick Green can do in the TS2 series. That's definitely that'd be definitely on my radar there to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. And I believe right now it is really starting to get really dark now, so you can actually see through some of the onboards and through the exterior shops. It's getting proper dark there, so there's no rain coming through as we see Hustle NZ going through into Rivage with a move there, and unfortunately he's gone a little bit too deep, and Flyboard has come back with a switchback again. So these two are having a beautiful battle for second place, and this is going to invite Tormentor to come through or get right up onto the back of his teammate to battle for second place. But obviously with Rick Green pulling himself away from the field about to take the victory, this is the battle pack we've got to keep an eye on. Flyboarding being hustled, no pun intended, by Hustle NZ and by Tormentor for the battle of second place as we keep the eyes on. I don't think there's any rain coming in, but I might see a few spots there coming in on the background. We're not too sure. But Ben Stick is the first of the Honda drivers in 7th, with his teammate SS Boy in 8th, and Nightmare the first of the only Lexus driver in the top 8. So very good job by her. But as we come through to the final sector, no one's been able to touch the Triple R Motorsport number 69, Rick Green, who's going to take yet another victory here in Trackstars TS3. Beautiful victory, a comfortable win for him, and he's done himself a stellar job. But let's look back towards the back of the field with Flyboarding and Hustle. Can Hustle go for a late move on this last part of the bus stop? No, he doesn't. Flyboarding covers that off perfectly, and he'll take out second place. So well done to Flyboarding. Hustle NZ, your pick to be in the top 3 there. So very good job for Hustle NZ. Tormentor with a very nice result, and Renegade a recovery drive after having an early spin on the exit of Rivage before corner with no name in 5th place. Ben Stick 7. The first of the Honda drivers with his teammate right behind there, so we're not so sure what happened to Cowboy as well, because they're looking for a 6, 7, and 8 for M&R boys. So both 1 and 2 at Daytona 500 will finish 6th and 7th here at Circle Spa-Francorchamps. Mario Kid, it looks like he's just made a move on Ice Nightmare, hit 9th place, and then Lonely at the back there. Unfortunately for Venti, with a broken wheel, he is hanging around the top 10 with our DNFs coming from NZL Cowboy and Meat and Cheese Pie in 12th and last place.
Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate there from them, but solid work there from Ice Nightmare getting a ninth position here. But yeah, a bit. Oh, got another yawn! Ah, God. That train ride kept me up all night, but not the train, sorry, the flight kept me up all night. Ando, mate, you should have got here faster. Ando is the pilot. Ando brought all the races and gear over, mate. You should have got us here faster, so then we didn't have to stay up through the night. But yeah, solid performance there by Rick Green, Flyboarding and Hustle NZ, rounding out the podium. So top job there by WRT, RSR, and Triple R Motorsport. So big ups to those 3 drivers there.
Absolutely, they're doing themselves a really good job as we wait for the field. Or Venti's just across the line now, so we wait for those drivers to save their screenshots. But I think we're going to talk about Rick Green, DJ. Obviously, he's taken 4 wins throughout this campaign in TS3 touring cars, and you know, obviously for a guy to win 15 seconds ahead of Flyboarding, obviously, let alone mistakes came from Meat and Cheese Pie and Renegade, he's top 3 in the championship. But for Rick Green, it's just comfortable. Like, he looks like he's just won with the car. He's just won with the track, and he looks to be putting himself in a very prime position to take out the championship come December.
Yeah, I'd definitely be waiting to see what he could do come the finale. But I'd really like to see if we can see how the other drivers can tussle it up. But this rain's coming around. We'll wait and see how she goes. But yeah, at the moment it was a good finish there. So we'll wait and see how it goes.
There we go. Race 1 belongs to Rick Green. It's a clean sweep for him. Pole position, clean race, bonus, and the victory. Not the fastest lap, unfortunately, so he didn't get that on us. I think that one went towards Renegade in 5th place. So very good job there by Rick Green to take out the win as we take a break and we get ourselves ready for a race 2 of the TS3 Touring Cars Championship for round 4 for the Belgian Grand Prix coming up towards you very soon.
All right, and we are back, ladies and gentlemen. And from what I can see, the rain has come. It's
The rain is here.
pretty moist
Absolutely.
outside.
Yeah, it looks a little bit. I mean, I think the track is pretty soaked up, as you can see on the indicator there. Not even just above over half percentage of the track being soaked around the circuit. So whether these guys will consider doing a lap on the wet tires and then throwing themselves onto the intermediates, we'll wait and see. But to me personally, I don't think you might even have time to do that, because if you change your tires after you do an out lap, essentially you're going to be losing time and you won't be able to set a quality lap in. Let's put it that way. So I think for these guys, whether they just use wets and they go around on wet tires, that's probably the best option. But if they want, they'll just have to go with intermediates. But you see a couple of drivers, Kamara Kid, go with drivers. So weirdly enough, Isa Nightmare's going out on soft tires, which is a very interesting tactic for her. Hustle NZ as well, and Tormentor. So I wonder if maybe these drivers are seeing things as they see it firsthand. It's just like, nope, that ain't gonna work.
They're getting a hold of this wet weather. I wonder if they realise that they're on the wrong tyres. But it's kind of a bit up and down, you know. Do you test it out? Do you wait it out? You know, the rain's going. Oh, you can't break that late into there, my friend. You're going off the track. There it is. Knew that was happening. But yeah, Kamara runs a little bit deep on the brakes there. But it's going to be a very interesting race start for these guys and girls here. So it'll definitely liven up the field.
Yeah, and it's actually the first time we've actually introduced wet weather racing for the guys and girls in TS3 as well. So this will be a new challenge for them. So last year's TS3 was all sunny and some cloudy racing, but this is the first time when they actually are doing a bit of wet running, DJ. So for these boys, I know I have a few drivers that I do keep in mind who are some pretty good weather drivers. I know Renegade is considered to be a very good driver. Haven't seen too much of flyboarding. Rick Green, he's quite handy in the wet as well, but I'm not sure about his pace. And yeah, I mean, obviously it is, like I said, it is the first time to see these guys do some wet weather running, and the first pole position, whoever gets pole position will take the advantage when it comes to the wet start later at the end of qualifying.
Yeah, and obviously being 5-minute qualifying session and it's wet, it's going to be a bit of a longer lap around here. So we've just gone 3 minutes, so they'll get one fly lap in by the time they reach the finish line. So it'll be a very interesting finish. Ready to go. So they're on the intermediate, wet, intermediate. So it's a pretty even spread at the moment with wets and intermediates. But the other thing is, if you get caught out there on the wets on that dry line, you know, do you run offline to cool the tyres down, or like what do you do? And this is going to be, Kamara goes really late into turn 1 there, almost hits the back of flyboarding. Was lucky to escape him there. So we got SS Boy leading the back for the first of the flying for the qualifying lap. So we'll definitely want to wait and see what the Epson can do in the wet. It goes really sideways.
As you say that, he's gone through a Rouge and Radion sideways, drifting around those corners. So that is very, very ambitious driving by SS Boy, but beautiful save from him nonetheless. But I see a driver flyboarding has picked himself a half second that's flyboarding, picked himself a half second then for cutting that Rouge and Radion. So that's going to hamper his quest to take out pole position this for race 2. But as we look on board with, let's see if we can go on board with, let's go on board with Rick Green. Let's see what his pace is like down in mid place as we comes down through towards Rivage, turn 10 on the circuit here. So you can see the cars are just starting to find some grip. You can hear the wheel spin coming from his car there, coming through the corner with No Name down this long stretch, going down the hill through the Ardennes forest, and then coming through Buon here. Trying just a dab of the brake, a little dab of the throttle there. He's using that traction very nicely, just with his traction control on, holding that car around. It's not being able to get it too flat with Benstick. Oh, as he started to go side by side, Rick Green just had to hold back there. And then going through Brussels in 13 and 14, he's doing himself. Look, the car looks quite steady, at least in Rick Green's hand. The car does look handy. And then comes through Stabilo 15 and 16, so still on the back of Benstick. So luckily for him, he can still see. You know, he's not being covered in spray.
Yeah, it's not too wet on the track there, so it's going to be a very interesting lap for you. We've got 20 seconds, so it's going to be a gauntlet run for these drivers to see who can make it past the line. I think, Kamara Kid goes really deep on the brakes.
So whether Kamara Kid went a little bit too deep or SS Boy went a little bit too late as they go around. Oh, she's just shoved off SS Boy off the exit of the bus stop there, so SS Boy won't be happy with that whatsoever. But Kamara Kid so far will take pole position ahead of SS Boy. As I say that, Rick Green does eclipse Kamara Kid's efforts for pole position. He'll take first place so far this evening, with Kamara Kid just coming through. Did he get his last lap in before the time went off?
He got past the check-in. He got past the line before the check-in came out, so he's the only driver that did. I think, sorry, SS Boy did also, but he decided to park up. But yeah, Kamara Kid was the only driver that got through, so we'll wait and see here. But as we say that, Hustle is on the front row of the 219, so I think the intermediates, he got a bit of a dry line towards the end there. Really pulled up.
So was Rick Green on the soft tire, on the wet tires?
No, he was on the intermediates, but Rick Green was actually a little bit further in front than what Hustle was. So I think the track dried up. The track dried up.
Yeah, and I think he got the best advantage there. But we will have to keep an eye on Kamara Kid up ahead. Obviously, what's he on? He's on intermediates as well. So we'll have to wait and see what Kamara Kid can do on this final lap here. So he's probably got the best of the conditions, DJ. He's got the driest part of the track, can really attack those corners a little bit more and try and find himself some grip. So coming towards the end of Stabilo, towards the back end before Blanchemont, we'll be able to see his sector times. But so far the car's looking good. He's able to brake a little bit deeper going through Brussels, through 13 and 14. So it looks like he's able to get that car a little bit more hooked up now that the track is getting drier. And you can even see it through the water level marker on the left-hand side. It is getting bone dry, so it'll be very interesting to see what our drivers can do. He's only 0.4 down on his time, though, so whether he might be able to make that up. He did get a little bit of a roadblock between himself and SS Boy on that final chicane. DJ said maybe that might help him promote him up, whether it's going to be first, second, or third, but we'll wait and see as he comes through. Blanchemont flying through there flat out on his car. Oh, just runs on the curving there. I thought he was going to spit out there. And then a heavy on the brakes through the bus stop for the final time. Clip that inside curb on the right, and then try to clip the inside as he gets a little bit of a tail whip on his car. But will he be able to get the traction down? Will he be able to get himself towards the front row? Doesn't look like it. He improves his time, but he moves himself up into, if I would guess that correctly, if we don't include the other drivers, I think that might promote him up into P3 or P4 for those drivers that came into the pit lane. So we'll have to wait and see, as we see some drivers looking to go on the soft tyres at the start of the race, but that's their call, you know, obviously each to their own. But we shall wait and see what the drivers can do this evening. But so far it looks like it's gone towards Renegade, actually. So I thought Hustle was on pole position, but I only just saw on the bottom right, on the bottom left there, we saw Renegade taking, looks like he's got pole position, and that's a very good start from the Iceman.
Yeah, it's definitely a very good showing there from Renegade, but we'll definitely wait and see, because I think obviously the qualifying start, and I'll start the race and it will go back to a bit of wet conditions. So if there's anyone in here from that's listening in currently for TS3, it might be a little bit moist for your soft tyres, but as you said, each to their own, and we'll see how it goes. But obviously Kamara Kid did impede and hit SS Boy there coming into the bus stop, and he did affect that that lap there. So it's a bit unfortunate, but it'll definitely be under a bit of investigation there, because I know if that was me, then I wouldn't really be happy with that at all. But
absolutely, but we'll
have that.
We'll keep that one. We'll keep that one on for the stewards to look at the end of the round there. But what we do know is that I think, yeah, Cowboy's actually ahead of his teammate. So actually, Cowboy managed to improve. He actually got himself a better lap in compared to his teammates in SS Boy and Benstick. So, well, that's a very nice showing from from Cowboy. So we'll have to wait and see what his Honda can do in the slippery start that is going to be race 2 of the TS3 Touring Car Championship.
Yeah, so it's going to be a very interesting race for this race too. So we'll drivers have jumped in the pits, put whatever tyres they think they were going to need on, and we'll wait and see what the drivers can do. Did Venti jump back into the room? He did. So it's going to be a very interesting race start for these guys.
There we go. So we can't wait to see what's going to happen here for race 2 as we get it underway. Ice Renegade will be taking pole position. Can he back that up with a race victory? His second win for the season? Only time will tell. But here we are, DJ. Look at that. The rain, as we took that break away from qualifying, it just came with a massive downpour there. The track is soaking wet. Whether it's going to favour the intermediate or the wet runner tyres, we'll wait and see. It is Ice Renegade on pole with Hustle in second, Rick Green, the championship leader, and the last race winner in third place. As we wait for those 5 red lights to go out, it is lights out, green flag racing, heavy traction control down. Hustle hasn't been able to get off the line whatsoever, but look at those Hondas come through, DJ. We see Cowboy up into second place and his teammate in Benstick and actually no, not Benstick, actually did not get the best, SS Boy rather. Oh, as these drivers are coming through there, my goodness, what a slippery start for those Hondas, DJ. Man, they were flying.
Yeah, they did. They really did get a blitzering start. Oh, SS Boy! Oh, that's that was a good save. That was a good save there by SS Boy. But yeah, that was a very interesting one. But the drivers, they're still on softs. That's why they're at the back. Look at them. Oh no! So we have Flyboarding, who was second in the last race, and then we have Tormentor, and then Ice and Nightmare. Is she on soft tyres as well? She changed to intermediate. Yeah. There you go. So you can see that's why she's pulling ahead. Oh, but you gotta feel bad for Flyboarding and Tormentor. The wrong tyres. Obviously, they want that rain to disappear as early as possible. But you could definitely see that it was that even Hustle even on the soft tyres, because he had a really poor start. Yeah, he was on softs as well. So we've got Venti currently. Oh, Rick Green going around here. He's the lead of the soft tyre runners. So the question is, do these guys just hold out? As Hustle goes a little bit wide through Rivage, and same with Venti, and these guys are really trying to make sure they don't do a pit stop, because they know that if they do a pit stop, they'll lose time. But look at Ice the Nightmare come through there, picking up with ease. He doesn't pass Hustle, he passes Venti as well, and she's moved herself up into 7th place, and now going to get past Rick Green, the championship leader. Ice the Nightmare, well done to you, good lady, and you are up into 6th place there. Well, actually, say that, no, yeah, so she's up into 6th place, so beautiful start there for Ice the Nightmare, picking the right tyres at the right time. And what a way to start your race 2 for Ice and Nightmare. Yeah, it's a very good start there from her. So she picked the intermediates, but that's the thing. I wonder if these drivers are, just testing out the possibilities of doing a no stop. But the grip there in the... It will favour them, because the pit lane transit time, it is very slow around Spa, especially on GT7 and what we saw back on GT Sport. So I wonder if these guys are just trying to think ahead. But if we look back up to the front, we haven't been paying attention to the front runners, because they're just pulling away. Ice the Renegade at 5.75 takes the lead ahead of race 2, ahead of his rival in Kamara Kid in 2nd place. The 2 M&R boys and SS Boy and Cowboy and Benstick, I'll say rather, is occupying 3rd through to 5th, with Ice Nightmare in the top 6. And then, as you said, the first of the soft runner drivers in Hustle NZ is in 7th place. He's holding on. He's trying to hold on into that car. Rick Green is trying to catch him, and as we say that, Rick Green is actually pulled into the pits now. So I wonder what his plan is. Is he going to go from softs to intermediates? But I wonder if he doesn't know how long the rain's going to last, DJ, because I can start to see it clearing up a little bit on the
through the forest there. Obviously in the downhill section it is still pouring down with rain, but I think towards Kemmel and through to Malmedy, I think it is starting to dry up just a little bit.
Yeah, so we'll definitely see what he's coming out on. Oh, he's picked the intermediates. So what will Venti pick? So I don't know if it might be a bit of an early mark there. I think maybe Rick Green has lost a lot of time here, chucking those intermediates on when what looks to see there's a dry line slowly starting to appear. You can really see it on the track there. There's water on the edges and there's that dry line. You can really see that now coming onto the straight, but that rain gauge as well has dropped down to that first bar. So it's going to be a bit of a gamble here for Rick Green on what he does. But the question is, what does Renegade do? Does he wait another lap on the intermediates, or does he take the gamble on chucking the softs on?
Oh, as we can see there, as you start to say there, if he wants to take a punt on changing tyres, we saw through Stavelot his car just went a bit sideways there. So I wonder if maybe for Renegade he might stick it out for at least maybe until like lap 3, at the end of lap 3, lap 4, I would say, before he come onto the soft tyres. But for Rick Green, it is very interesting. I'm obviously starting on the wrong compound, but I wonder, obviously we see Hustle is still the first of the drivers on that soft compound there, but through his pace, he's actually looking quite alright there. He's actually made those corners just pretty decent there. He's going at least 130 through Brussels, and if we look through Rick Green's point of view, what speeds he's actually doing there. So he's actually going in, yeah, so more or less the same speed as Hustle. So if those two are equally pace and conditions with soft tyre compared to intermediates, I would say the advantage goes to Hustle.
Yeah, at the moment I think the advantage is going to him, but his tyres are obviously going to be up to temperature when they come through again. But Nightmare looks like she made a bit of a mistake there through the bus stop, but she's doing a bit of a recovery drive there. So she's sitting in 6th place. That's a really good start there from her. She's, after being in 4 rounds, she's definitely shown that she can work on her pace. So I don't know if she's getting a bit of coaching there from anyone, but she's definitely doing a bit of a good job. But she's actually lost time to Hustle here. But I want to keep a look on that relative with Hustle. Rick Green runs just offline there. That's really wet out there. You don't want to do that when you've got a partly wet, partly dry track.
Absolutely. And so if we look towards Renegade's lap time, what is that, a 2:22? 22? What's the lap time that Hustle set down in 7th place?
2:29.
Okay, so he's still a bit off the pace at the moment. But if you look at the gap towards Hustle and Renegade, it is quite big. But as I said, the pit lane transfer time is a fair amount.
He's pulled 6 seconds on Renegade between. As I say that,
he's just gone wide. Oh, he was doing so well as at the same time, and that just ruined it for him, unfortunately. But I think he's still got an advantage, DJ. You can still see Rick Green ahead of him, but he's on the intermediate tyres and Hustle's on the soft. So I still want to say the advantage still goes to Hustle in 8th place, but we don't want to discount him just yet, because we've got ISO Renegade still leading the way. He may even pull the trigger right now. I think it's just gone underneath that 1 bar on the radar, on the weather map, on the water, on the amount of water that's on the track. No, he'll actually go out for 1 more lap too. So anyone behind's going to make a move. Camaro, no, he's going to follow Renegade around for another lap. What about the M&R boys? Surprising start by the M&R boys, DJ. That was a very lightning start by both Cowboy, SS Boy and Benstick. So obviously these cars do really work in the rain compared to the dry.
Yeah, none of these drivers are pitting. I wonder if they're taking note of the rain radar on their left-hand side and the track. Because the track's really drying up now. Because Hustle's definitely going to be on the charge here with that line drying up. You know, you want to stick on that line. You run offline and you can put it in the sand, which is what he did coming out of Les Combs, at Kemmel there. So it's definitely an interesting one, but you've got to, as I say, that he's pulled 1.1 seconds in that last little straight there. So 58 seconds is a very long way. But as I say, that Cowboy, he's made a mistake here through Eau Rouge and Radio.
And he was doing so well. He was hanging up into 3rd place there as well. So very unlucky for Cowboy. He's doing himself a really good job there to be in third place, because he was the one that got the lightning start ahead of his teammates and pulled himself up as high as second place. But we've got now SS Boy in third, with Ben Stick now promoted to fourth, and they've demoted their teammate into fifth place. But that sun is coming out, DJ. It is bright, and if you want to be a driver driving in behind someone with spray and a shiny circuit in your race helmet, no thanks.
Yeah, especially even just sunlight in general. That's definitely not a very good thing that we like to see. But Fussell made another mistake. He's gone out to a minute 2, so it's going to be very close. Will drivers make the gauntlet rush into the pits? But Rick Reed is on a fly here. He's done a 2:16. Oh, he runs really wide there. That's not the racing line, my friend. But yeah, what Renegade will do if you choose to.
I wonder if he's like. Yeah, that's the thing. I wonder if he's going to choose to come in, or he's going to say, you know what, it's only about 3 laps to go. I might as well just stay on these tyres. But you've got to think, DJ, if you go on a normal circuit with 3 laps to go, you would take the punt. You would literally take the punt and just running intermediate tyres. But this is Spa. It's over 7 kilometers long in track layout, and it's very unpredictable in both ends of the track. One end of the track could be still wet, and the other end could be bone dry, as we see through La Source going through Eau Rouge and Radion, which is bone dry in that section.
And obviously being in like a 7 kilometer circuit, you know, we see it in the likes of Bathurst as well. Even the Nürburgring, you know, up the back, Nürburgring can be like sunny as anything, and down the front can be like an ultimate hailstorm. So that's where it kind of comes in, you know. Do you take the gauntlet run? As I say that, both the M&R boys do, but Ben Stick stays out, so he's on wet, so he's going to be losing a lot of time on that dry, on that dry track, on those wets. You want to be finding that wet line.
They found they're getting a lot of heat into their tyres, and they're not, obviously they won't work for it. But now SS Boys are first of the drivers to go out onto the soft tyres. Will it be ahead of Rick Reed? Yes, I think he might just make it out ahead. He does, so that's a very good strategy call there by the M&R pit crew to bring in SS Boy. But unfortunately for Cowboy, he's right back behind him, or going through Eau Rouge and Radion. That really did look sketchy for SS Boy, but he's just held on so far. But we see Rick Reed on the intermediate tyres, picking that wet line. Is going to go for looks like he might go for a move, as we see yellow flags. That is Ben Stick. Going for a full spin as well, so that's going to hurt his chances of getting anywhere near the front, as Rick Green makes a move on SS Boy up into 4th place. But Ben Stick, unfortunately for him, not to follow his teammate in and follow actually both his teammates into the pit lane. Very unfortunate, but as SS Boys tries to round up Ben Stick 7, he can't do. He's trying to take the outside line. Is that going to work for him? No, it doesn't. It's very slippery there on the outside, and then coming through corner with no name, trying to stick the nose in his teammate, saying, I'm on the dry tyres, you're on the wet ones. Try to move out of my way, because I'm trying to work my way up through to 1st place. But we'll have to wait and see what Renegade and Kamara Kid do, and Rick Green. But I feel like if Renegade's going to stick it out, he's going to have to really get those laps in to try and make sure he can take the victory this evening.
Yeah, I think Rick Green is really hunting down, but I wonder if the intermediates make him lose a bit of pace there. But I wonder, Renegade looks to be sticking it out on these intermediates. That's a very big call there.
And Kamara Kid too. So both Kamara Kid and I would say as well, Rick Green's going to probably stick it out as well. So I wouldn't see him coming into the pits whatsoever. But SS Boy is on the charge, the first of the soft runners there. I wonder if maybe Rick Green, obviously being on the soft tyres at the start of the race, obviously he wasn't too sure if he thought, you know, soft tyres will last half the track and he'd be able to get himself into the pit lane for intermediate tyres. But he just said, you know what, I'm just going to go on intermediate tyres. If they wear out, they wear out. We'll just do what we can. But it looks like SS Boy isn't really able to close up. I think Rick Green's trying to find that wet patch. You don't find it on the racing line there. Rick Green's all on that inside line there. So, but you can see that dry line kick it in. It is definitely dry, and I can't believe, I don't want to say it, but I feel like Rick Green is going to be skating all over the place like he was on soft tyres.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Hustle hasn't come through the field a little bit more, but it looks like he's made a bit of a mistake on his 4th lap, so a bit unfortunate, but yeah,
was a little bit inconsistent with his lap times, as we see through his lap times on right-hand side. He just hasn't been very consistent. His last lap was his fastest, but yeah, I think because lap times is just not there. As we look at fastest lap times, you see Fly Boarding's got himself the fastest lap of this race so far. So we're only about 1 3/4 of the way of this circuit Spa-Francorchamps for race 2 of the TS3 Touring Cars Championship. Hustle's really trying to get past Benstick. He can't find a way. Will he look towards the inside? He does. He sticks the nose in and he makes that move stick with the softer tyres compared to the wet tyres that Benstick 7 has. He's made that move so easy, and now he's going to be on the charts to try and challenge Rick Green, SS Boy, and for 3rd place in the championship. But SS Boy's not able to make a move just yet, and Rick Green's doing a very stellar job to keep himself ahead of that Honda M&R car.
Yeah, he's doing an awesome job there. But Kamara Kid and Renegade have really punched out some solid laps, but you can see there, Renegade's on the intermediates doing a 2:16, and you've got Fly Boarding on the softs doing a 2:09. So it's a 7-second lap difference between the intermediates and the softs. So
wow,
if you could, if you made the gauntlet change a little bit faster, as I say, that he goes 2/10 faster. So he's on for a 2:08 here. So hopefully we can see the first 2:08. But yeah, it's going to be very interesting if a driver did do an early stop. But unfortunately, no one did. But yeah.
Absolutely. So as we see that SS Boys made the move on Rick Green, but Rick Green's on that inside line where the wet patch is. Will he be able to outbrake SS Boy? Take that inside line, he does. He's hugged a narrow line, but SS Boy on the slicker tyres, on the dry line, has got the advantage over Rick Green. He will take 3rd place in the last lap for race 2 of the TS3 Touring Cars Championship. We've got Renegade and Kamara occupying 1st and 2nd, but SS Boy and Rick Green is the battle that we want to keep an eye on. Will Rick Green be able to pull through with the power of that Nissan GTR? Will be able to make a move on the inside at the end of the Camel Straight through Lake Herne? But as for the final time, we're going to see how he will be able to make a move. No, he doesn't. So SS Boy's really just trying to block that inside line. He's just trying to park it on the apex because he wants to make sure he gets himself another podium. That'll be 2 podiums in 3 races, DJ, for SS Boy if he keeps it up.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see if we can try and get the Renegade to see if he can get the win here. So hopefully he doesn't make any mistakes coming through the bus stop. It's a solid drive there from Renegade.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. He made those intermediates last. Obviously, made the ball call. He said to his team, "Don't champion on these tyres because I'm going to stop a really good gap over Kamara Kipper." For the final time, another victory is going to go to the ICE for the ICE Racing Group, and that's going to belong to ICE Renegade 575, taking the victory for race 2 of the TS3 Touring Cars Championship at Circuit Spa-Francorchamps. So big congratulations to Renegade, and another stellar performance here by Kamara Kid, DJ, for FR Racing. So FR Racing making their debut in season 2022 for in the TS3 Touring Cars, and he's doing himself a really good work to bring that team up towards the front, and he's brought it up into 2nd place at the end of race 2. So well done to Kamara Kid for taking out 2nd. But the man back here in 3rd place he's made the move on Rick Green on the last lap towards the final corner, and he's going to get himself a podium if he executes this bus stop nice and cleanly, just nice and steady. Don't overbreak it because the Honda, as we know, DJ, loves to snap out on you. But for the final time, he will come through. He was going to plant the power down, and he will take 3rd place. So well done, SS Boy, for a brilliant race result.
Yeah, it's ending. Looks like it's mucked up a bit. Renegade and gone to 5th and Kamara to 6th, but we do know that they passed the line in 1st and 2nd, so it's a bit curious as to see what's happened.
I'm not sure. I think probably the only option is could be the case is if you actually set it to mandatory tyres. I think that might be the reason. So maybe they got minute penalties. But regardless, if we look down the rest of the grid, we'll see SS Boy take 3rd, Rick Green in 4th, Hustle in 5th. We'll have Fly Boarding in 6th place. Then we'll look at Tormentor to be in 7th, Cowboy in 8th, Benty 9th, and I believe the last of the runners will be Isa Nightmare down, actually Benstick, and then we have Isa Nightmare. So we'll work out the orders, but I think, yeah, there's been a little bit of mistake on the timing monitors, but the victory does belong to Renegade, he will take the victory. He'll take out the checkered flag. So beautiful stuff there for Ice Renegade. Top drive for him. Done himself a really good job, and for him to be in first place is a blessing and a very good and a nice relief for the man in that is Renegade.
Yeah, definitely solid job there, and I'm not too sure what happened with that timing, because I know I didn't have any required tyres to use, but it had available tyres, I'm pretty sure. But you know, it's GT7, anything's possible with this one. So we do know that Renegade did cross the line in first, and Camaro Kid, wherever he is, down here in second, and then as the leaderboard sits, so SS Boy third, Red Green fourth, Hustle NZ fifth, Flyboarding sixth, Tormentor 7th, Cowboy 8th, Venti 9th, Benstick 10th, and ISO Nightmare down here in 11th. So pretty solid performance by some of the drivers there, but yeah, it's going to be very interesting round 5, I think.
Yeah, definitely can't wait to see what happens. Obviously, unfortunately for me and Cheese Pie to have a bit of a DC at the end of race 1, couldn't get back into the lobby for race 2, but we'll wait and see what his performance can do in the next round coming. But for the lobby, the win won't go to SS Boy. It will belong to Renegade 575. So I think there may have been a little bit of a timing error on our timing boards, but as we did see it on the live timing, that we did see Camaro in second and Renegade in first and SS Boy in third place.
Yeah, so pretty solid job there, but I think the game didn't click over because it had it down here as a required tyre, which I had on nothing. I had on off. I had usable tyres on. It looks like the lobby settings reset themselves to have a required tyre. So it's a bit unfortunate there that the timing kind of mucked up with us, but yeah, Renegade will get that win definitely. So it's going to be very interesting to see.
100%. Can't wait to see what the result is at the end of this evening. But I feel like if it's going to go by round results, I think if I have to throw in a wild guess, it'll be very close, DJ. I think it'll be very close between Renegade and Rick Green to take the overall victory. But I think for a driver, especially like Hustle NZ, who came up through the field towards the end there, I think he might be able. I think he could be one of the drivers that might take out the round. But we'll have to wait and see, because it might be so close. So that second race really spiced things up. That's for sure. So we have no idea who finished where.
Yeah, that's a bit weird, but it'll definitely be one for us to look at. But yeah, we do have Benjo in the Discord asking about Renegade did just receive a 1-minute penalty for not using the dry tyre. So it was the in-game penalty system. So unfortunately for that setting, because it was on, he did receive a 1-minute penalty. That will get reversed in the post race results. So don't stress, Benjo, don't stress, Renegade, don't stress anyone. That will be reversed. So Renegade definitely will have that race 2 win. So as we know, we do have tyres available to use when the rain comes in. That any mandatory tyre does kind of go out the window. So it's it's an interesting one, but GT7 playing funny games with us.
100%. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how we get that resolved for the TS2 race. But as we say that, we have concluded our round rather of the TS3 touring cars here at Belgium. It's been a fun trip, DJ. I probably need to go have a little nap after my long ass flight from Australia to Belgium. But in the meantime, we'll get ourselves ready for TS2. And that is coming up in 45 minutes time. So we'll see you guys then. But on behalf of the TS3 boys and for Rick Green and Ice Renegade taking victories in both races this evening, we'll see you guys